everyone. Welcome to our season review series. I'm Tori Petry alongside Twentyman and Mike O'Hara here in Allen Park. Guys, we've been going through every aspect of the Lions game in 2019. We did offense, defense, special teams, and now we are going to take a look back at the rookies' performance in 2019. It's something we spend so much time on in the offseason discussing, and now that the 2019 season, their rookie season, is over with, let's take a look back at how they performed in their first year in the league. Obviously, it has to start with TJ Hockenson. We talked a lot about him in our offensive review because it's really impossible to discuss the Lions offense this year without also including the tight end position, and he was a big part of that. So let's just take a brief moment to look back and see what we thought of TJ Hockenson in his rookie season.
Well, when you saw him in training camp, I'm sure I think you guys will agree with it. The plays he made in training camp and preseason, all that, a little bit of the preseason he played were great. And when he broke out with that big game against Arizona, I thought, that's him. Week 2, where'd he go? You know, it leveled out really quickly, and I think he had maybe 1/3 of his receiving yards all in one game. But it's a tough league. It really is. It's a tough league. And defenses and defensive coordinators and players, they'll identify you like that, and I think they did that with him.
Well, and it's a tough league for rookie tight ends,
Sure.
too. I think you look across the board, even some of the elite guys that are out there, go back, look at their rookie seasons. We talked about that when we did the offensive series, too. And TJ's numbers are right in line with a lot of those guys. And I think TJ's not just a one-trick pony either. I think, TJ's a guy that'll get in there and get dirty in the run game. He'll pass block. Obviously, he'll be a pass catcher. And so, I think he's a dual threat tight end, where some of these guys maybe are receiving specialists or some of those, different skill sets. But he's going to be fine. He's going to be a good player for a long, long time. Like I said, that position is so hard for rookies. They're learning essentially 3 positions, all the pass protections, all the run blocks, everything. They just have to learn everything. And so it's really, really difficult. Don't worry about TJ. He's going to be fine.
Well, I'll give you the Mike O'Hara relativity index.
Is that a thing?
No, it is now. I just thought
okay.
of it. But if TJ would have had 6 catches for 131 yards in the 4th game, man, he's coming on. He had it in the first game, so there's a little different way you view him because he did it coming right out of the gate.
Fair enough. Well, let's take a look at the Lions' second-round draft pick, Jahlani Tavai. He was thrust into a lot bigger role this year because of some of the injuries, particularly with Jared Davis. He stepped in there and was a really big part of this defense this year.
I thought he did fine. I thought he did fine for a rookie linebacker trying to learn the game. And look, he didn't play big-time football at Hawaii either. So I think, the speed of the game, some of the guys he was going against. But look, he flashed. You saw, I think, week 1, he had a sack. I think, it was the San Diego game where he had the key forced fumble at the 1-yard line to help them win that game. So I think he made plays. He had the interception late in the year. And so you look at the tackles, sacks, interceptions, forced fumble, all the kind of things that you want. You want guys that can make plays, that can be difference makers in games. Now, it wasn't consistent throughout the year like we've seen with maybe some other guys, but he showed flashes. And when you're talking about a rookie linebacker, I think that's what you want. You want to see those flashes. The biggest jump guys make in development is from year 1 to year 2. And I think Jahlani showed enough in year 1 to think, okay, he's going to have an entire offseason now. He made those kind of plays. He got his hands on footballs. He made difference-making plays that you got to think there's going to be more in line in year 2.
Tim, I think right from the start of the offseason program, when you saw him out there with the #1 unit, you thought, is this real? Jahlani Tavai? Well, it was real. And you look at the statistics he had, they were right in line with guys who got more publicity than he did, because you don't see rookie inside linebackers get a couple of sacks and an interception and all that. He was fine, and I think although he didn't end up the season on injured reserve, he had 15 games, so he had plenty of experience as a rookie. It's not like he got hurt in week 1.
No, he's going to be a big part of their defense.
Big
Big part of their defense going forward because, like you said, he got a ton of great experience, and he did something with it, and I think that's a good sign for the Lions.
And he has a certain awareness about him, too. He knows
Very
where he
much.
fits in.
Very mature individual, yeah.
Well, another player who found themselves in a lot bigger role than maybe we thought they would be going into the season was Will Harris. The Lions traded away Quandre Diggs. Tracy Walker was expected to step up and be that leader role there. And then right after Quandre Diggs is traded, Tracy Walker gets injured. So Will Harris really has to step into a huge role at safety. What did you think of the job that he did?
Well, I think it was asking a lot of him. Whenever a rookie steps into a major role, it's always tough. But I think it was just his skill set that he showed. Mike talked about Jahlani Tavai in training camp, but I think some of the things that Will Harris showed in training camp, I think, showed up too. And just in terms of he's a 4-3 guy, with size. You know, I think that size, speed, some of those things, I think they just wanted to get him on the field. They wanted to get some packages with him involved in the game. And I think you saw late in the year, week 17, the sack, you saw that kind of speed and burst and skill that he has when he sacked Aaron Rodgers. Those are some of the things I think he brings to the table. And so, again, he's got to develop. He's got to get a lot better, especially in terms of coverage-wise and not letting guys get behind him and just being aware of your technique and things of that nature. But he'll get better, like we talked about. Guys take a big step year 1 to 2, but I think next year he's going to be a guy that they ask a lot of alongside Tracy Walker.
Yeah, and they play a lot of safeties too. Tavon Wilson and Tracy Walker and Diggs before he was traded, and then Harris. So you're going to get playing time if you're any good, if you've got something, and he got that. I think like with all these rookies though, the best thing that can happen to them is for the season to end and they go, take a deep breath, decompress, and then come back and learn. You're not caught up in learning something every single week. You get a chance to process it and redevelop it.
In the 5th round, the Lions picked up Imani Oruwariye. He also stepped in and played a good bit this year because of injuries. I mean, we could really say that about all of the rookies, but he had some good moments himself.
Well, he had 2 interceptions, one of them in the last game against the fading Aaron Rodgers. He's all the way up to 4 interceptions a year now. My God, he's falling apart. But look, I think the same thing with Will Harris. I think they have a premium on size here in the secondary. If all things are equal, you want the bigger guy. And look, this is a kid who's 6'2", 207 pounds, and he can move. And so I think he's that alone. He's got some length. He's got some speed. He's got some experience.
Ups and downs. Showed some good things. Got beat a couple times, but had the interceptions. I think he, like most rookie cornerbacks, every rookie cornerback, unless you're Marshawn Lattimore or Ward or some of those guys that just came in and were, Pro Bowl type players as a rookie, those guys are hard to find. I think most rookie cornerbacks are going to come in, they're going to take some lumps, but he showed he can make some plays too. And I agree with Mike. He's a big kid. When you talk to him and stand next to him in the locker room, I guess I didn't even realize just how big he is. I mean, he's built like a safety too. It's not like he's 6'2" and lean.
No.
He's a big guy. And so he can run, and I think it was a good sign that he showed the ability to get his hands on the football and make some plays. And I think he's another guy that this defense probably has some big plans for heading into 2020.
We talked about the run game in our offense video. Ty Johnson became a decent part of this run game this year. He fits into a room that now has Kerryon Johnson and Bo Scarborough. What does he bring to the running back room?
Well, he brings some speed. You saw that in training camp, and I think the awareness maybe needs to develop a little bit. I think he's a guy where it's like the run goes to the B gap, he goes to the B gap. Whereas Kerryon, it's a little bit different. I think he's got to become a little bit more instinctual as a runner, but the skill set's there. I mean, you see it when he gets into the open field. He's fast. He's a burner. I think Darius Slay and Ty Johnson, and you could have a nice little 40 there and decide who's the fastest guy on this team. But it's straight line speed to me, and so I think maybe develop some of the lateral, the jump cuts, some of the things you do really good runners. When something's not there, you can instinctually stop on a dime, make another cut, and then get into that second gear, which he has right away. I think I didn't see that enough with Ty, but I think the skill set's there, and again, he'll develop going into year 2 as well.
Yeah, and I think, first of all, I think Darius just texted in and said, I'm the fastest. But I think with Ty Johnson, you've got to get develop confidence. I really do. You got to believe what you see, and I think gets into his second year. He'll look at what he did and what he didn't do and say, okay, I saw it, I just didn't do it.
But what a great 40-yard run there in the last game, right before the half, set up a field goal. I think that's what you get in Ty.
Yeah.
I think he can be a big-time playmaking guy because of that speed. I think you just have to build some consistency with him.
And one thing about him, or two things really. One was he's bigger than I thought he was. When I just heard about all that speed he had at
Those
Maryland.
thighs.
Yeah,
I think I can put 2 of my thighs together, and they're as big as one of his. He's got some big,
Try walking that way. and the other thing is, I think he had better hands as a receiver. I didn't think he'd be that good out of the backfield. I didn't run a lot of routes, but what they threw, he caught.
And speaking of rookies, I think that obviously this is going to be a huge offseason for Lions. They've got the number 3 overall pick. We'll see if they stay there. But that's a guy that you expect to be an instant game-changing guy, whatever side of the ball he goes to. Now you've got 2 picks in the top 35 now.
Yeah.
And so you expect those guys to be playmakers. And so when you're talking about rookies, look, the Lions are going to have, their pick of a top 3 type guy who's impact. And so I think it changes this whole offseason. It's a little bit different than drafting 16, 17, 20, 21, whatever it is. Now, they were
Totally
8
different.
last year, but even that's a little bit different. You can automatically wipe 5, 6 guys off that you don't even evaluate.
Right.
And so it's different this year. Now Bob Quinn and his staff, Matt Patricia, they have to evaluate everybody, because I think everybody might ultimately be in line there at number 3.
And here's the $1 million questions. Offense, defense, trade. We'll tell you right here. Just stay with us.
It might be a few months before we know the answer to that question, but it will certainly be an exciting few months, because the Lions do have that number 3 pick, and we will have all the coverage of what they decide to do with it. And of course, the rookie class for 2020, that's coming up ahead as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our season review of the 2019 season. Remember, we don't go anywhere. We've got plenty of coverage of the offseason as it continues. From Xfinity Studio, I'm Tori Petry.